How we'll know that?
So maybe the Rajat, last modified it will check, means what are the changes happened. It will compare with the last file along with the current file. So that way.
No, that is actually being done in Terraform. But here in Ansible, how it
Uh-huh.
works actually. So before it executing, right? So internally it checks the gather underscore facts, right? I told you, right? The package facts and Ansible underscore facts. So Ansible, what it does, it checks the facts actually. It collects all the facts from the server, and it will check whether that particular application or software is installed or not. If it is installed, then it will ignore it. Okay, similarly same thing also, it will check for copying a file, right? For a copying a file, it will check whether the file is already up to date on the server or not. So if the file is already up to date, then it will again ignore, it will not copy that file. Similarly for notification, notify and handler also, because if the notify is not triggered, when the notified will trigger, when actually there is a change happen, then the notify will be triggered, and then it will just execute the handler. Okay, so today we'll see today we'll see lots of things about the variables. Okay, how we can create variables and how we can register these variables and display the outputs and all. Also how we'll see the various things wait for, right? Before executing something, we need to wait, and after that we'll do a small demo project. Okay, and we'll talk about some modules on AWS modules, also how we can use AWS modules on this playbook. Okay, so those things we'll discuss today. Let me just open that 1 second.
Ranjit, one doubt maybe.
Mhm.
So this gather dot fact file, can we see or it will be system level file?
No, no, we can
Means
see, right? I showed you in the check package status, right?
or maybe that class I was not. Okay.
Yeah, so we can, I'll show you today also. 1 second.
Yeah, please.
One second, let me just open it. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so today we'll see about the variables first, and then we'll talk about the register and all. Okay, so what is this variables actually in Ansible? Then how we can use these variables and all, right? So if you follow the documentation, right, there is one chapter is there for playbook variables, how we can declare the variables and how we can use it. Okay, so it's very simple actually, creating the variables and all. If you see here, simply creating the variable name with colon and then pass the value. Okay, so if you see here, the templating, like let me show you one example here, how we can actually exactly declare the variables and then call it out. Okay, so there are two different ways we can do it. You can see here, in the host web server, right? Suppose in the variables, right, whenever we write a playbook, and the top of the playbook we can just use the variable name like this bars, and we have to use the keywords bars, and then under that we can just declare the variable. So here http port we have given 80. Anything you can create a number of variables here, and these variables can be called inside your task. Okay, so in two ways you can keep it the variables. One is you can directly keep the variables in the playbook, and the another way is you can create a variable file name, and then you can reference that file name inside the playbook. Okay, so here another example defining variables and included files and roles. So here you can see here, see these keywords you need to remember it. Okay, so how you will declare the variables, simply you have to use the keyword words colon and the variable name and the value here. Okay, so all this you have to just by using this you can just okay, let me just show you one example how we can just copy this one. We'll just modify this and we'll see how this can be achieved. Okay, we'll declare few more variables and then we can call it out. One second, let me just log in. Okay, so I have to change the DC. Also today we'll discuss about the roles and Ansible Galaxy, variables, Vault, everything we'll discuss and then we'll do the project. Okay, one second. Let me just write it down. Okay, so let's do a ping test. Okay, so
Yes,
we
yes,
can see here which is success. Okay, let's do whatever we had copied. Uh, I can create variable demo, the YAML file. Okay, so we have to just create like let me copy that. It will save some time. Okay, so what we did here, if you check it, host I have given all, that's fine, but I don't want because the DB server is not exist. Let me give it web servers. Okay, so remote user, that's fine, root. And here the remote user module to change to execute the playbook as root. Okay, remember, so what user you want to execute it as root, so you can just give remote user. Okay, and the variables. Okay, remember the variables should be declared under this host section. Okay, variables will be declared first. So here you have to just create a keyword called vars colon and then give a variable name. Suppose I'll just change this one and okay, so I'll give us name. Let's range it. Okay, so let's remove this for now. Don't need this file. Give a task. Okay, and here what I'm going to use instead of command, okay, we can you can use the command also, not a problem. So or else I what I can do, I can use the cell module. Okay, so like last class I told, right, either you can use Ansible dot built-in dot the module name, or you can directly use command here. Okay, so I will just go with direct. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, so let's use cell module. Okay, I'm going to print out something like echo, and remember we have to call the variables. How we will call the variable? We'll call this variable like the ginger templating, right? So the variable name is name. Got it? So what it will do, it will just print the name. Now we saw how we can do that, right? Similarly, just let me save this one, and we can see lots of other options available here. How we can just do the variables. See, again, when we are executing the variables, what we did it here, we kept the variables inside the playbook. Then we are executing. But sometimes you have to pass the variables from the command line when executing the playbook. That time you have to use the keyword called extra dash dash extra dash vars. Okay, then you have to pass the variables like the version, other variables, and food. So can you give one real time scenario, any one of you, when we need this extra vars parameter can be passed? You would be executing lots of scripts programs in your company, right? So when just tell me a scenario, a situation where we need these vars to be passed. Okay, so
For example, I can say that we have some scripts to be run for every month.
mhm.
So the inside the script is same, but we have to pass every time is a date change. Suppose December means I had to pass from December 1st to December 31st. Entire procedure inside function everything is same. So date alone need to be changed. So whenever I'm running this script for every month, I used to change the date while running the script so that it will try to run with the dates mentioned.
Okay, that's good. So another real-time example, what I'm going to give you, like suppose you have one release here. Just check this command, this line. Okay, here release.yaml. That means we are suppose I'm going to release a deploy. I'm going to do a deployment, and that needs to be done on particular server. Okay, and that should be production server. So what I can do it here, I should first what I have to do. Suppose which version of code do we need to deploy? So we can pass extra variable. We can pass the version. Okay. So another thing is whether you want the environment. We can give another variable called environment, whether production or staging or dev. So you can pass it like that. But the problem here is while executing this, obviously because one human is going to execute this one, sometimes he or she might do some mistake, right? So that will cause problem when we're passing this one. Also we cannot keep track of these things. See, whenever you are writing a playbook in the YAML file, that will be version controlled. That means you are going to store in a repository, right? Any changes happen to the playbook, that will be stored in the repository. So who has done, because for audit purpose, that will be the good option. But when you are passing, see, so if you are some executing some ad hoc commands, ad hoc work, that time you don't really need that to be audited or that to be kept somewhere, right? So you can immediately write and pass the extra variables for your work. Okay, but I would suggest always create always a variable files or store those variables in the playbook or create a variable files, store the vars there. I'll show you also how we can keep these vars in group underscore bars. Okay, group bars are there, so that will be a very important topic. Okay, group bars and vaults. Okay, that we'll discuss in later class today. Okay, so this way you can pass it. Another thing is okay, so let's execute our script and see how it actually uh, the results got it. Okay, so okay, let me see if okay, there are also some scoping of variables. Okay, so the global variables play and host. So what is this means? Scoping of the variables locally also. Whenever you are doing some programming, right, local variables, global variables are there, right? The same thing also available in Ansible. See, the global variables is this is just set by config environment variables and the command line. So one example, can anybody give me, if you really understand the Ansible from the starting, can you tell me one variable which is can be globally already set up in the config, where you can find the global variables? Okay, so if you remember, we have one ansible.cfg file, configuration file. Okay, so all the variables, whatever is set in this configuration files, all are global. Okay, suppose if I open this file. Mhm. So if I see here, if I just open this file, you can find it here like inventory. Okay, these are the default, see, default values, some basic default variables and the values stored here. So these are the global variables. Globally, the Ansible can access all the variables declared and defined over this configuration file. Roles path. Okay, remember the roles path actually is here. So when we learn the roles, that time we have to come here and uncomment this one. So let me do that one. Also, what we have done, host key checking, we had made it as false. Okay, so let me do remove these roles because we are going to learn these roles after this one. Save it. Okay, so all the global variables will be stored over here. Again, we have the custom variables which you can declare and can use inside the playbook, that I'll show you how you can use group variables. Okay, that is totally different. Let me just, and another one is the play. So each play and contain the structure, that is what we just did it, right? Vars underscore files and vars underscore prompt. So here the and then host label variables directly associated to a host like inventory, include underscore wire, facts, register, task. Okay, so these are the host. In our inventory file, we also have created variables, right? See, Ansible underscore host equal to the value, this one. So we can keep the variables inside the inventory also, hosts. Okay, so now these are the variable scoping and where you can keep the variables and all. Now let's execute the script and see what it displays. So what is that? Variable demo. Let's execute it. Simple playbook. Okay, see what it says. Standard output it gives, it gave me Ranjit, it gave me Ranjit. Okay, so that is what I had just written it. So same thing we can also write. Let's change this script and change this playbook a little bit, and we'll see. So here I had just declared a variable. called name, and that name I'm calling over here. So it is displaying the. Okay. Now, what happens? Sometimes what will happen? You need to reuse some codes. So because the variables, whatever you're going, suppose the variables you will be using like the host name, like the port, the server, the DB password, the username, and all. Okay. So that you can store it over here, like directly in the playbook. Remember, guys. And then you can keep. You can also keep these variables under a file that is called your var vars underscore files. This is how you have to declare the variable. Okay, so let me just create a file and keep the value over there. Okay, so we can just, and that will be one YAML file. Remember, where you will keep the variables, that should be one YAML file. Okay, so I just give one vars underscore files. Okay, let me just do that one. Let me create one folder, and then okay, so under the task, let me just create another task name. So print value from a file. Okay, so what I can do it here, just let me vars underscore files. Okay, let's check whether this is correct or not. So it should be vars underscore files colon, and then it should be a list. It should be a list. Okay, so list, and then give the path name, right? Which path you want to keep your file. Suppose let me keep this one in same thing vars and name dot YAML. Okay, I just created name dot YAML. Now, what I'm going to do it here, simply save this one. So I'll just create, sorry, it should be, okay. So here I'm just going to keep a file called name.yaml, right? So always starts with three dashes and just give l name equal to, suppose, sorry. Okay, I saved it. Now, so what I did actually, cd etc. If you see here, so we did it create the vars files, and the vars files is under this name.yaml, and I have just declared the variable inside the file called name.yaml. Okay, one second, guys. Okay, so we can execute this playbook now. Let's execute it. So how we can do it? Ansible playbook. So what it says, variable files must contain either a dictionary of, sorry, see, it throws the error. Okay, so we have to use, okay, let's execute it. See, it just gave me fine. Yeah. Ranjit. So two ways we declare the variables. One is from the directly from the playbook, and another one is declaring inside a file. So which one is the best, guys? Do you think which one will be the best one? Declaring from in a file or from a playbook?
I think file is the best one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes. So we should always create a variable files like this and store and declare, define all your variables over there, and then you can call it from in the playbook. Okay, you can access those variables in the playbooks. So again, that variable files also can be like version controlled, can be stored in the repositories. Okay, now what are we going to do? Let's, okay, so we covered the variable things. So let's see how we can store these values in a file, sorry, in how we register this output of a task and display it. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, mm, for a register, I have one code, I can show you that one. Okay, here simple task here, register, I told you in that last class also, to register a variable. So here also what we are doing, we are creating a variable and registering the output of this command cat test.txt. That means whatever the output of this test.txt will be kept under test underscore count. Okay, so how we'll do it, let's, we are, so I'll just get it to register. Okay, now web servers. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to cat. So instead of giving cat, what I'm going to do, I'll just do another command that's called, I'm going to execute host name. Okay. So what it will do, the task will be executed on the node machine and give me the output of the host name, and it will register the value inside this variable. So let me change this variable name to something different, like, okay, so it should be like, I just give host, I just created my own variables here. Okay, host underscore name. Okay, so the value of this cell output will be stored under this one. Okay, now what we'll do, so that is the host name. Now let me just print it. I don't want to give these conditions. Okay, last class we already discussed about this one, when, right, if condition, right? So what I'm going to do it here, okay. So how we'll get this output of this register? You have to just use like this. See, the variable name and then standard output. Okay. standard output if it contains, like, okay, let me just explain this one and then we'll go to that. So here what we have done it here, we are just displaying this output of this test.txt, registering the variable here and giving a condition if the test.count, that value variable, having one phrase called hello, okay, one pattern called hello. If it finds, then it will just print it out that it contains hello world. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, the same thing I'm going to do, but I'm just going to print the variables of the whatever I will registered. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so it will be host underscore name dot standard out. Okay, it will not display the error, it will not display, I think, but let's try. So we have to use debug here. Okay, we have to use debug. So let's do that one. What was the register, right? Let's do this first. If not working, then we'll change it. Okay, Ansible Playbook. Okay. Okay, good. So it displayed the error. Sorry, it displayed the output. So what output we gave?
Output.
We gave the output as we had given the command as host name. So what it did, it connected to the node machine, executed the command, right? Executed the, see, it connected to the server, executed the command and displayed the output over here. So now you know, I just tell you how you can declare the variables locally inside the playbook, and how you can keep the variables outside the playbook in a file, then how you can register the output of a command in a variable and then display it and use it. So mostly when you have done like if you are from a development background or have written some scripts, you would have seen you require always some output to be stored in a variable, and you can use that variable for a conditions or something, right? You can check something inside that, if it is exist, then execute that, right? So in scripting, everyone might have used that one. So same thing also we are using in the YAML. So it's a little bit, see, the way of writing the code is very easy. It's straightforward, only you have to write, but you have to understand what you need to get it. The syntax is a little bit different. So if you are already a programs, it will be a programming background and it will be easy for you. If not, that's okay. That's also simple ways we can write it out. See, we are not going to do anything else. So remember, this is Jinja templating. Whatever you want to, variables or anything, right, you can access it from there. Okay, so good, we are good with the variables. Now let's discuss
So
about,
Ranjit,
yeah.
sorry Ranjit. So Ranjit, this command could you execute with a hyphen without hyphen b, that verbose mode, no? So maybe only once it will show, no? Because std out.
No, it will not display. No, because see, verbose one, I'm showing you to display the output in the front in
Output.
terminal, right? If you don't give, it will not. Let me do that. So
Mhm.
see, it does not give me anything, right? Because
Okay.
whatever the executions happens, you have to give hyphen b
Hmm.
to store the to display the results in the terminal itself. Okay, so here it,
So that
yeah.
yeah, Ranjit, I got it. Sorry, actually. So that std out, then What is the use there actually?
So here, see, the std out is we are having, see, mostly the commands whatever we are executing, right, to display the uh, logs, right? If you
Huh.
don't use, see, if you're that is up to you what command, what task you are executing, or do you need
Mm-hmm.
the logs to be displayed on the terminal or not. Okay, so if we give here like this, then if you are printing something and you execute like this, then no use of doing that, yeah, writing the playbook, right? Because you want to
Mm-hmm.
see the result, then you have to use -v options to give the
Okay.
result over here. But if you are installing something on the server, or you are executing something on the server, or you are starting a server,
Uh-huh.
starting any server or starting any application, but you don't want to see
Mm.
the logs.
See
That
the logs. Uh-huh.
that time you don't need to give -v.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is
So here, here and this. So here also a doubt actually.
mhm.
So the we are using this output. So how we are using actually means this command whatever we executed.
Mhm.
So that command output. So we can use. No means where it is getting stored actually.
Which output? Okay, I got it. I got it. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
if you see here the
Yes.
registered thing, right? So the
Hmm.
output of host name is getting registered on this variable name. It will be stored on these variables.
Okay. Okay. So
So
that one we are printing.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that one
Uh-huh.
I'm printing it here using echo using the cell module.
Okay, okay. Maybe that was my confusion. Okay, then got it.
So I'm
Thank
printing it
you.
here. But whatever the
Hmm.
logs we are displaying on the terminal, right?
Hmm.
That if you want to
Hmm.
store it, you can just store it by redirecting the
Redirect. Okay, okay.
by redirecting the
Linux command.
file.
Hmm.
Okay, if you want
Hmm.
to,
I think
Hmm.
that logs are storing the different some other folder, har log folder, or
yes, we can store it. That is correct, Bidu. So if you want, I'll show you
Hmm.
that one. Let me store this one first. Okay, that you'll find it out where the logs actually. Mostly that is controlled in the configurations file. Okay, I have not unchecked the that line. That's why the log.
Enabled. Okay. Hmm.
What happened here? The area instead loop must be a list of classes of objects. Okay, so that is not actually redirecting. Oh, sorry. Should be log. Okay, it's not redirecting the output. No, it's not working on this redirection. We'll see that on how we can redirect it. Okay, so let's come
Okay.
to
Okay.
the
Hmm.
business point. So yes, we
Hmm.
can enable the logging where just go to the Ansible, sorry, go to the configurations file. Okay, cd etc Ansible. Okay. See, this is the log
Got it.
path. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
if you want to store the logs, then just uncomment this, because
Hmm.
unnecessary it will just um,
Get added. Hmm.
get added and it will create lots of huge files of logs, right? So if you
Hmm.
need really to be stored, then you can just uncheck this one, enable this one, and then you will get it. Okay. So I'm not doing
Hmm.
that. Now,
Yeah.
what we are going to, we saw about this register, we saw all about these variables and all. Okay. So let's do one more thing about the wait for. That is also very important things. So guys, last class also I told you when where to use this wait for, right? The wait for can be used like when yeah, I was explaining yesterday, right? When you are going to start something, execute something after starting one application or after starting a server, that time you can just use this module or this called wait for to wait until this server is started. Okay, so you can use wait for module. Okay, it's very simple. Just inside the service, just wait for this to start it. Okay, once the service, you see the service module, what we are doing using this service module, we are starting the Apache server and we are waiting till the Apache server is fully started, then deploy the code. Okay, so that's the wait for things module. Okay, now let's discuss more about, okay, we completely, okay, let's covered it. So variables we covered. Okay, let's discuss about something, the error handling. Okay, so whenever we come to programming or anything, any automations, error handling is most important part, right? So how will handles the errors in the Ansible? Ansible, what it does, Ansible runs handlers at the end of each play. If a task notifies a handler but another task fails later in the play, by default the handler does not run on that particular host. Okay, so here we can use the how we can handle the errors. Basically, error handling is most important in every automations and programming. Right? We can see it over here. So this is a task or the play. What I'm going to do it here, it says like we am just executing a command, what happens, and then registering the value, registering the output. See, using the register module, I'm registering the value under a name called command underscore result. Okay, so what it does, failed when this keyword is available in command underscore result, the variable dot standard error. So when it is available, it will display as failed. Failed when fail is available in this one. Okay. So how we can do this one also based on a, you can see, or based on the return code also. Return code is something like when you execute a script, any command in the Unix also scripting or in Python, there always will be a return code. If 0 is success, if more than 0, it is failed, right? It is not bad. So that is how we can just do error handling. It is simple things by handling the errors. We can use the when, like the conditions here, to the checkings. Okay. Now we are good with this error handling. We can just go through more details about this error handling and go through these documents. Let me just ping you. Okay, I just ping you. We can just go through this and just explore more things how we can use that one and try to put in your playbooks. Okay, now we are good with see guys, I would suggest you to go across all the modules, okay, whatever we have covered. Also there are multiple other hundreds of modules. You just try to do try to create a requirement by yourself and try to put all the modules whatever is required. Okay, now I'll show you before moving to the Ansible Galaxy and doing the project and creating the roles. I'll tell you about different other cloud modules, different other cloud modules. Okay, let me just, okay, because we are focusing on that AWS, working on the AWS, I would more go with AWS module. But if you want to do any other cloud, not only clouds, any other tools, all these modules are available in Ansible. See, in this community page, you'll find community.azure. If you want to know all the modules related to Azure, you can check it out. For crypto, for DigitalOcean, okay, for Docker also we have, for Google, Grafana, Kubernetes, right? MySQL, all these modules available here. Okay, suppose you are working on Azure, just open this one, you'll find all the modules related to the Azure cloud. See these modules, all these modules. Okay, so I'll just give you a demo on AWS modules. Okay, so let's do that. You can see here the AWS modules, we have lots of modules available here. Lots of modules available here. One simple example I'm giving, the rest of the examples you can try by yourself, but I'll give you one demo of giving one example. So suppose there is a requirement of downloading a file from S3 server. Okay, so suppose I have stored a file on my S3 storage. Okay, that how I can download that to that particular machine. Okay, again, what we do normally, we store all our applications, right? All applications, the binary on a Artifactory, right? So either you are using JFrog or Nexus, or you might be using S3 bucket as your Artifactory. So here in this example, suppose I am keeping all my binary files, my WAR file or jar files in the S3 bucket, and I want that to be downloaded from that bucket and deployed in the server. So how I can do that? By using this AWS S3 module. If you go AWS S3, see we have AWS S3. So here happens list S3 buckets. Okay, so this is one of the module S3 buckets. I don't want S3 bucket info. I want something. Let me just go through that. Okay, S3 bucket notification, S3 website logging. Okay, fine. So let me go to this first AWS S3. It is AWS S3, okay, S3 bucket info. So let me show you. So once you okay, again, it will not directly work. Remember, you might need to be installed few other softwares. Okay, Ansible core and Ansible collection list. If you have to install it, you can just use. You have to use Ansible Galaxy collection install community.aws. So this community.aws should be installed. See, also by using this AWS module, you have to always see about the requirements. What are the other softwares need to be installed before you use this AWS Ansible module, Ansible AWS module. Okay, so you need Python greater than 3.6. Remember, 2.7 will not work. You need greater than 3.76. Boto 3 and Boto core. Boto 3 and Boto core. These also required. So these are the softwares which is required these modules to activate. Okay, then you can use that one. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so where we need this Boto 3 and all, and remember, as Ansible is a configuration management, before doing any using any module or anything, it should first configure it. How we'll do that one? I have a program. Okay, I'll show you. Ansible S3. It's a very simple playbook, though it is little big one, but it's a very simple playbook, and I have written various tasks over here. So what it does actually, it is same thing, installing Java, whatever we have already done in the project, and then downloading Tomcat server and see. Before doing that, what we need before downloading, before using this amazon.aws.aws underscore s3. Okay, before using this. Okay, so okay, let me just go through that. Let me show you how more you can use this one. Okay. Lots of things given it here, but I'm interested on the AWS underscore S3. Ansible. Manage objects in the S3. The same thing everywhere in every page they gives the requirement. You should understand this requirement carefully. Okay, here the bucket name and the content. Okay, destinations, EC2 URL, encrypt, all these parameters available here. Okay, let me just give you specific parameters which I have used in this project. I have used called bucket. Remember when we use this S3, right? We used to create the bucket, so that you have to use this amazon.aws.aws underscore S3 module, and inside this module we have various parameters. These parameters are like buckets, right? Where is the bucket? Here. Okay, bucket. Okay, here bucket. So the bucket name of the bucket. Suppose here my bucket name is DevOps web.ansible. That is the bucket name I have created in my account. Okay, and the object. What is the object you want to download it? You can just give the object name here. Destination, obviously we need a destination folder or the path where you want to store or download the file. And mode is very important. See, by using this module we can upload a file, also we can download the file. So the mode is given get. If you want to upload it, you have to just put it put. Okay, so let's see about this mode. See, mode, the mode, we have various other choices there. Put is to upload, get is to download, get URL to return download URL. All these options, list keys, create bucket. If you want to create a bucket also, you can just create the bucket. If you want to delete, copy, all these options are available here. I'll just give a task. Try to use this module by yourself, and use the various options of mode. Try to upload it, try to download it, try to delete, and just play around it. So once you play around it, you'll be get more confidence of writing the playbooks. Okay. So objects, the name of the object inside the bucket. So in the bucket, because S3 is an object based storage system, object based storage. So we all the data inside the bucket is object only. Okay. So okay, now you understood how you can do that one. Okay, now what I was telling, so before using this one we need the requirement. What it gives, the requirement is this should be installed: Python 3.6, Boto 3, and Boto Core. So let's check that one. In my code, if you see here, I have installed Python 3, then the other dependencies. So when you use Python 3, remember, install Python 3 pip. So Python 3 pip is nothing but a Python package manager. Python package manager. I'm using the yum module to install it. You know how to use the yum module. Okay, yeah, I'm just installing Python 3 hyphen pip. That's also package manager, Python package manager. By using this pip, Python 3 pip, we are going to install this Boto 3. Remember, this Boto 3 cannot be installed using yum, because the yum package manager does not have this Boto 3. You need to install pip first, then install the required other softwares. So Boto 3. So here I have given only Boto 3 because we don't need Boto Core, because Boto 3 itself will install Boto Core for you. Okay, we don't need separately to install Boto Core. Okay, now you understood how we can do that. Okay. Now this, don't worry, this playbook I'll execute in our demo project. Okay, we'll use this one end to end, complete end to end project, starting from Jenkins to of deploying into the production. That everything I'll show you. Okay, so we'll do a big project. That time you also have to tell me how we can proceed. Okay, I'll give you a big requirement in a scenario. So everyone, I would expect to tell me what I have to do. You have to tell me, I'll do the project. Okay, so that everything will be done that time. Now you understood clearly, right? What are the things is required and how we can use the modules, right? Similarly, if we go for uh, similarly, we can, if we go for if you just go to the community page, where is the community page? Okay, if you go for Azure, so there will be also some dependencies that you need to be, it need to be installed before we do that, right? Suppose let me check anything like okay, um, CDN profile info. Okay, get Azure CDN. So okay, this is deprecated one. Okay, here it has also some requirements. See, this is required Python greater than equal to 2.7, and all these Azure collections should be there, and full installations. Okay, so it is given all the full installations of Azure. So you can follow this requirement steps if you are using Azure, and if you are using AWS, it's very simple. We need only these three to be there. Okay, when we'll do the project, I'll show you how we can install all this. Okay, now, okay, we are good into the modules, cloud modules. Okay, AWS. So the task is for you just to go home and practice all the, not all the, whatever you need. Try to play around it. Okay, try to play around with the modules, whatever is available in the AWS one. Okay, now let me just go through this module list. This is the, okay, this is the modules, all these modules. Also, if you're working on the database, I'll show you also in the database module where we when we will do the project in the database module, there is actually uh, lots of variables and lots of modules in database also. MongoDB, MySQL, right? These PostgreSQL, Proxy SQL, Rabbit, okay, Rabbit, all these things, VMware, Windows, JBix, everything are there. So let's talk about our common and very popular MySQL database. Okay, remember guys, these modules, it's very less modules, but these are required when we work on our project. See, our project, whatever project I will show you in our next class, what I'll show you how to, directly build from the Jenkins, and then write the playbook, install Java, install Tomcat, install MySQL, then create tables, everything I'll show you in the project. Complete set of project I'll show you, okay? Starting from Java creation to database, okay? End to end, I'll show you how it will be working, the complete work. Now, in my project, before you, because today I'm just showing you all this model information. So tomorrow, when I work on the project, you should understand what module I am using. Otherwise, you will get confused, right? Which module and what is that actually? So, what it does actually, and MySQL module, it is MySQL underscore DB. What it does, it add or remove MySQL databases from the remote host. Okay, and the MySQL info. So if a MySQL query, it run MySQL queries. Okay, let's check what is this MySQL query, and it has also requirements similarly, like the Python 2.7 or greater, and the MySQL DB to be installed. Okay, this is a requirement, and all these are the parameters. What are the parameters? See, login DB, login underscore host, login password. All this you have to pass while writing the playbooks like this. The example given here. Also, if you want to use MySQL query to get a query or get result from the database, you can write login underscore DB. These things also you don't worry. Okay, I'm just giving you some hints and just explaining you all this. But when we do the project, I'll show you how we'll use all these parameters in this project. Okay. So you can just follow this one. Just go through that when in the next class when we do the complete project, you at least understand how it works. Okay. So this is the MySQL DB page. So okay, now we are good in the modules and all. So let's move into the Ansible Galaxy. Okay. So as I told yesterday's class, Ansible Galaxy is a web-based space where you can find all the roles, all the softwares, every informations and everything you can find it over there. Okay. So let's go to the Ansible Galaxy and roles. First thing is why we need to you need to first understand why we need roles in our Ansible playbook. Okay, in our Ansible. So what it says, roles will allow us automatically load related variables, words, files, tasks, handlers, and other variable artifacts based on known file structure. Okay, so when we create, so first thing is why we need roles. As I told, to reuse our codes, to reuse whatever the playbooks we have written, we can use various roles, and then by using the roles, we can reuse the code. I'll show you how that can be achieved. Okay, now, so what happens? You can easily reuse them and share them with other users. See, after you group your content in roles, you can easily reuse them and share them with other users. That is what the galaxy.ansible, if you do galaxy.ansible.com, it will have all the roles created by the users are stored over here. Okay, any role. Suppose I'll search a role called, see, Ansible collection template. All these roles are available. Lots of roles are there. Let me search anything called MySQL. Let's see if it is available. See, there is a community MySQL role also available. It has 7 modules. Okay, all this available here. You can use it. All these modules information. So we just go to click it here. You can use this community MySQL to install. How to install that? You can give you. Okay. You can use this Ansible Galaxy way to create the Ansible. So how we can create a role? Let me just show you that. Okay. So here we can create two ways. One is by using Ansible Galaxy. And when we are going to create a role, you have to use the command called Ansible Galaxy init. Okay, init should be initializing a role. Okay, let me just go through more details about this Ansible Galaxy uh, documentations. Okay, Okay. So here the Ansible Galaxy documentations, you can use this documentation. Let me ping you. Okay. You can use this. This is very simple actually. If you want to create by using Ansible Galaxy, it is very simple. But I also will show you manually how we can, without using, how you can create your own folder structure. Okay, how you can create your own folder structure. So today I'll just show you how by using Ansible Galaxy you can create it, and when we do the project that time I'll show you how we can do it manually. Okay, and let's see what is this Galaxy. Galaxy is a hub for finding or sharing Ansible content. Okay, so people will various people in the globe who were using Ansible, they'll do their create their own roles, own code, and they can share, upload in the Galaxy page. And suppose I want that particular role to reuse, I don't want to spend time writing again code and roles. I can get the roles of that particular user used in my code directly. I can save time for automation. Okay, now what happens here, you can see the content over here, how to create a role and all. So if you want, just follow these documentations, but I'll show you. Let me just so go to the creating roles. It is very simple. As I told you, have to just use Ansible Galaxy init and the role name. Okay, so when you, let me just go through that. Okay, so cd. Okay, I don't want to go in. I'll just create the roles in this page itself. Okay, so here you can see one roles folder is already there. One roles folder is already there. Okay, you saw like in my just previously what I did, I removed unchecked, enabled this roles folder right in the configurations file. You have to do that also. Now let me just go to this roles folder. When you install Ansible, by default, these three will be there. Remember, roles folder will be there, host will be there, the inventory, and Ansible config will be there. Okay. Now just go to this roles folder. Nothing is there. Okay. Nothing is there. Now, what I'm going to do here, let's come out from this role. I'm into this Ansible. So I have to use Ansible Galaxy init. Okay, so give a role name. Suppose I'm just creating some codes automations for my company, a administrator, or for the HR people. For HR people, I'm just going to create one, or for administrator, or for testing purpose, okay, or for development. Okay, I'm creating a role for, suppose for web applications. Okay, what I can do in it, web app, I can just create one role called web app, or you can create a role called admin. Okay, just hit enter. See what it says, role admin was created successfully. So if we do this hyphen l, see one role is created here, admin. But this admin, if you go inside, there will be lots of folder structure. I'll tell you this folder structure. Let me explain you this folder structure first. Okay. Uh, okay. So what if it happens? Roles expect files to be in a certain directory names. Roles must include at least one of these directories. So tasks. When you create the roles, if you check this, go inside this folder, you'll find all these folders to be created. See, many things got created. Many thing gets created here. See? Vars, test, tasks, handlers, defaults, files, templates. So based on your requirement, you can use this folder. Again, if you go inside the folder structure, it has also different folder structures inside. Let's check. Just go to the task and it will have, so all the, okay, let me just explain you or else you'll get confused, right? So what this task contain? The task contains the main list of tasks to be executed by the role. So if we go to the task folder, it will have one YAML file. Okay, so go to the task folder, go to the task folder. Okay. Sorry, go to the task folder. See, every folder will have one called main.yaml. This is the structure, guys. In our next in your project, okay, maybe next class project, I'll show you manually how we can create it. Okay, I'll show you. So in the main.yaml, you have to keep all the tasks. So I am into this task folder, right? All the tasks what needs to be executed, you can put it over there. Okay, it will get lots of confused now. You will get confused. So when we do the projects of using these roles and all, you'll understand that time. Okay, and this file will be blank now. Nothing will be there because we have to add it. Nothing is there. Okay, we have to add the task now. What is this called? Task files for the admin. Now let me explain the other things. Okay, so handler, in our last class in the playbook itself, we used handler to handle the event, notify, and then execute it, right? Handler, what it contains the handlers which may be used by this role or even anywhere outside this role. So if we go to the handlers section, handler folder, okay, here also one main.yaml file will be there. See, so all the handle, what are the things needs to be handled by the playbook, everything would be mentioned over this main.yaml file. Okay, now let's do that. I'll show you an example. Okay, now defaults. So default variables for the roles, whatever the default variables for the roles, you can go with the default. And what are the variables? See, that three ways I showed you. Again, here another different way you can, when you are using, all the variables should go under this vats folder. If you go to this vats folder, we'll have another main.yaml file, cd vars. Here also, see, main. All the variables will be kept in this main.yaml file. Okay, that will be kept on the main.yaml file. And then files contains files which can be deployed via this rule. Suppose if you want to deploy any files, you can keep it in this files folder. Templates contains a template which can be deployed by this rule. Okay, metadata defines the information, so the metadata, the sections, metadata sections. Okay, all these details we'll see when we create the roles. Okay, so Ansible Vault is there. This is very important. Okay, okay. Let me just tell this about this Ansible. Okay, now you understood a little bit. You got some ideas about this role. Until unless we do a project or practice it, you will not understand. Okay, you'll not understand until else I do a project. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, next class we'll do a project on this roles, and we'll see how this complete playbooks can be kept in a structured way, having the roles, and that roles can be reused. Okay, now let's talk about, okay, now we saw how we'll say, so okay, this way actually we created the vars and kept it. Another way is to storing the variables, actually, that is called group underscore vars. If you search this documentations, Okay, it is not displaying, it is giving the host group words. Okay, okay, I'll tell you the group words. Don't worry. So there is one group words variables, how you store your variables using the group words, I'll tell you. But so far, whatever we have stored is under variables and it's a plain text, right? And that can be visible and everyone can see it in their eyes. Okay, that can be misused. So Ansible provides a good secure way to secure your data, to secure your password, all the sensitive informations, whatever you want to keep it secret by using Ansible Vault, Ansible underscore Vault. You can encrypt your password or data if you don't want that to be displayed outside. Okay, so you can, by using the vault technique, you can encrypt your data. Okay, so what is this Ansible Vault? Let me just tell you. Ansible Vault is used to encrypt values and data structures within the Ansible project. If you want to encrypt any values and don't want to display all the sensible values or sensitive values data that you can use using Ansible Vault, you can store it. What it does, it provides the ability to secure any secrets and sensitive data that is necessary to run an Ansible plays successfully, but should not be publicly visible. It will not be visible to your naked eye. Okay, so all the variables which can be visible to the outside audience or to the outside people, you can keep it in the group underscore var or in the simple variables folder, vars folder. If you want to see some like what are the sensitive data, like the database passwords, login user credentials, those details you can keep it there. Okay, so in our project also I'll show you how we can keep those by using Ansible Vault, how we can create those details. Okay, so it is very simple to create Ansible Vault. There are few only commands. You have to use Ansible hyphen Vault, like Ansible hyphen Playbook, Ansible hyphen Galaxy to create the roles, hyphen Ansible hyphen Playbook to execute the playbook, right? So similarly, to create the vault and secrets, you can use Ansible hyphen Vault. The command is Ansible hyphen Vault. So create, the command will be create, and then you have to provide the vault file name. Okay, and to edit the vault, you can use edit, and to change your password, you can use it. To encrypt, you can give it encrypt. To decrypt, you can use it. To view the vault, you can use this command view. Okay, these are the simple things. I'll share all this. Okay, but you can find it over here also. Just search for Ansible hyphen Vault. Okay, so just go back. All this you will find in the documentations, whatever I told you, right? If we go here, Ansible Vault, the commands, right? Command line tool. See, come go to the command line tools. See all these commands, Ansible commands. I showed you already this page, right? To you. So Ansible playbook, Ansible console. So we can now we can use Ansible Vault. One second, guys. Okay, so we can just go to this Ansible Vault. See, whatever I just showed you, create a decrypt edit view. You can see how we can create this in Ansible usage. All this, okay, all the informations and everything. You'll find it over here. Okay, so the config files. What are the Ansible? If you want to use this Ansible files, anyway, tomorrow project I'll show you. That also will be there in the configurations file. That you have to uncheck it. Okay, so Ansible. Okay, let's search for Vault. Okay, see, Vault password file. So whatever the files to be built, you have to provide the path name here, and then you have to uncheck this one to use. Okay. So tomorrow classes we'll discuss more about this Ansible Vault, how we can create it with examples, with a project. Okay, let me just give a hint about this project. I'll do tomorrow. So this Ansible demo project, we have roles created using Galaxy, group words. Also, we have vaults. Vault is not displayed as it is secret. It is not there. I'll show you how to create the vaults. And the vaults you will find it under this group words. You can see the vault over here. Words and vaults. Okay. So that's all, guys. Today we'll do this demo project, and in this project everything I'll show you how we can segregate the playbooks, create different tasks, create the task in a different role folder. So you can see here I have two roles. One is MySQL and Tomcat. So because we are going to work on the MySQL database as well as the web server. So that's why we have created two tasks and given it here. Similarly, where we need the roles, suppose for administrator, if you are working as an administrator, and you may need to install multiple softwares on multiple servers, right? That time we can create a simple role for administrator, and that can be used by this administrator whenever they are using the playbooks, right? They can use these playbooks, and the roles can be assigned to that one, can be used, right? So all these details tomorrow I will explain you how we can segregate these details, and based on the roles can execute, based on the roles execute the playbook. Okay, that will explain tomorrow. Okay, guys, so hope everything is clear. If you have any doubt, we can discuss this now, or maybe we can meet up in the next class, next Saturday. Okay.
Anjita, it seems Ansible itself is a very big concept.